I'm Carolina Aramburo, and in this video I want to talk to you about coaching. So why does a person get a coach? Well, it's not because they're insufficient in something or that they need something. People get a coach because people are committed to extraordinary performance. Everybody can do great, but people that are committed to the highest possible level of performance always have a coach. If you look at all the sports stars that we all admire, you know, Michael Jordan and all these people, they always have an extraordinary coach. If you look at a sports team, everybody knows that if that team gets the best coach, their chances of winning are really high. So if you look at, everybody really, people that you admire in the business arena, people that you admire, look at business people like Donald Trump. This gentleman is extraordinary in business performance, and he has a coach because he's committed to the highest possible, to the utmost performance in his business. Is not satisfied with just good enough. If you look at people that are public people that you admire, they have a personal coach. Why? Because they want their relationships not to be just good. They want their relationships to be extraordinary. So in my particular point of view, I have this passion for coaching because I have it that a person that gets a coach can accomplish the most possible satisfaction, fulfillment, success out of everything that they are committed to in their lives. And I have it that every human being really deserves to live the life to the fullest. So I have that everybody deserves a coach. Now, I will tell you a little bit about my experience of coaching and how did I get to be a coach. Well, first of all, I had no idea the real opportunity of having a coach. I used to be a great business person. I used to be a very successful business person. And even though I was successful, I wasn't being coached by anyone. I was just working as hard as I could always. And I used to coach people to do the same that I was doing because it just seemed very natural that I could teach them to do what I did and what I do. But years later, I had an extraordinary coach. I had one of the best coaches I consider I have had the privilege of working with in my lifetime. And her name is Molly. And she, in the beginning of the year, we worked together an entire year. She and I sat down and we looked at my performance. And we saw that even though I'm always going up in the performance chart, I always end up higher than what I began, which is, what we all want. It always went like up and down and up and down and up and down, and then I'll end up winning somehow, but it would be up and down. So that's what we looked at in the beginning of the year. And then she worked with me the entire year, and even to my surprise, in the end of the year, we saw that my performance was up 96% of the time, which is extraordinary. Literally accomplishing everything we forecasted every week, 96% of the weeks. I have never accomplished that before. And I know very few business people that actually do that. So I was, from that moment on, I just fell in love with coaching and the possibility of what coaching can create in a human being's life. So I became a coach. I had the privilege of being trained by the group of people that I consider the most extraordinary 50 coaches in the world. And their training program is not just like studying a PhD. I have done that work before, but if you look at studying for a PhD, you just study and take a test and pass, and if you don't pass it, take it over like that, study and take a test. When you get trained by this group of people, they have the most rigorous, the most, I have it that is the most really elite kind of a training, because they're constantly evaluating you and training you, and you're always practicing at the same time. It's just extraordinary. Their training program is between 7 and 12 years, which is equivalent to a PhD in ontology. And just to give you the idea of the rigor and the privilege, that I'm never going to get over the privilege that it was to coach with this group of people. When I started my training program, in my region, there was over 100 people like me committed to getting certified, right? And we continued the work, and in the end of 6.5 years, there was only 2 of us that got certified. A friend of mine, that used to be a colleague, he got certified under 6 years. He did it way faster than I did. Canadian, extraordinary coach. And me, that I got certified in 6.5 years. Now, once I got certified, I started leading for this particular group of people with them around the world. And I had the privilege of leading large seminars, like 150 people, sometimes 200, sometimes even we got to 300 or so group of people, and I would coach them in a group, and I would also coach them one-on-one. And my experience has always been that 90% of the people that took on the coaching and the training accomplished all their goals and more. People write down what they want to accomplish. And in the end, we will look, and they accomplish that and so more in most of the cases. Now, I'll give you a few examples so that you can get what's possible. I coach, I coach people that I coach for years, and sometimes for weeks and months. It's very different kinds of coaching kind of periods, if you want to call it that way. And sometimes you coach someone, such a long period of time that you become friends, and they have become my friends. I have coached now a very good friend of mine, and his name is Craig. And in the beginning of the coaching, he was already an extraordinary businessman, and he was committed to be the best that he can possibly be. I coached him for a year, and in that year his business more than doubled. That's extraordinary. And he was working less time than what he was working before. I coached a lady that she's an extraordinary engineer, and this is what she accomplished. First of all, she got a raise, and she got her job to be exactly what she wanted. Being able to work in the setting, under the conditions, and the hours that she wanted to work, so that she could have as much time free as she wanted. She accomplished her goals and went a little beyond. And we look at her relationships. And she did the work because the relationships with her family members and friends were good. But she was committed to outstanding, not just good. And in the end of the coaching, it was like with every single person, even with the ones that she was a little bit distant with. She was having extraordinary relationships. And she has become a very dear friend of mine because you just can't help it but get a huge amount of affinity for the people that you coach. I can give you many, many examples. And in the next videos, I am going to introduce you to some of the people that I coach. They are generous enough to be willing to share with us their results. But this is enough for this video. If you want to inquire about being coached by me, it will be a privilege. I have the confidence with the training and all those years of practice that I can coach anyone and anything and under any circumstance and have your success in whatever it is that you let me coach you be a foregone conclusion. So just email me to the direction right under this video, and we'll start the conversation and give you more personal information. So thank you so much for this opportunity, and make sure that you get a coach and that you create the most extraordinary life you can create.